Hello people, let's do this. Is that time, the most exciting time, book time. You guys can tell by like my outfit choice, and the makeup is giving, first of all. But also look at my eye makeup, it's so cute. I did purple sparkly. I was actually working on concert makeup inspiration this morning while I got ready, so that's why I'm fully glammed out on a random Wednesday. But I figured, what better opportunity when I'm looking like her than to film one of my favorite videos, which is my April TBR, guys. It's giving purple, black, blue palette. Beautiful. I'm so excited. I want to preface by saying these are all my physical TBR books. These are books that I have had on my TBR for a long time, books that I need to get through, books that a mix kind of books that I've been putting off, and a mix of books that I just want to read, okay? Because the thing is, I didn't put a lot on this TBR for one reason. Two reasons, actually. First of all, because I haven't been doing that well with my TBR. I've been doing okay. I'd say I'm about half and half. Like, I've been reading the books on my physical TBR, and I feel like I've kind of been trucking through them, but also I just haven't been doing very good with reading in general, and I think that that might be because I've been in kind of a slump because I haven't been able to mood read, and I love to mood read. But I actually am right now, currently, in March, reading Daisy Hates, and I have the little book bag because if you guys know, you know, when you need to annotate a book, you gotta have that thing on you, okay? These two are a package deal. These two are like besties right now. I'm loving this book. I'm reading it slowly because I want to digest every single facet of it. I knew I was gonna love Daisy Hates. I knew I was gonna love Julian. I'm loving it. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. It's literally not about you, okay? The second reason is that I just want to focus a little bit more on balancing my mood reading and books, still physical TBR books, but some of them are newer releases or books that I'm just really interested in that I want to read, because I don't feel like me only reading books that have been on my TBR for a long time. Not that I don't want to read them. Obviously, if I own the book, I want to at least try to read it, even if my taste has changed and I don't like it. I won't read it. I actually decided not to read a book that was on my TBR last night. I just decided, you know what, I'm going to get rid of it, give it to someone else who might enjoy it more than me, and I just wasn't in the mood. I tried it, I started it, I decided it wasn't for me. I wouldn't even count it as a DNF because I was like 8 pages into it, and I just wasn't, you know, and that's okay. That's okay, guys. If you have books that have been on your shelf for a long time and you put it off and you finally try and read it and you enjoy it, that's great. If you try it and you don't enjoy it and you're like, okay, I'm not even going to go through with this, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, ultimately, I put so much stress on myself to finish the books that are on my TBR, and I'm like, yeah, I can totally do this. It's totally attainable to read like the 300 books that I need to read to get them off my shelves. But you know what? If I'm not enjoying it and I just want to get rid of it, that's okay too. So that has kind of been my mindset, and now we're gonna get into the actual books. So let's go. I have this book, which is a thrift, and that is why it has no dust cover, called Damsel. It's by Elena K. Arnold. I have had this book on my shelf, and for some reason I was under the impression that it was a romance, and I think it's more a fantasy, but I had it on my romance shelf, and I picked it up because I don't know if you guys have seen the new Millie Bobby Brown Netflix movie Damsel, but it's like all about dragons and like queen and like her basically just being a bad bitch, I think. And I was looking at it and I randomly saw this book on my shelf and I was like, wait a minute, is that book? And I didn't even know, because like I've had this book for a long time, like at least probably almost a year maybe, and it's not. I looked it up, I researched a little bit more, but when I opened the book, my brother Zach, who loves dragons, and I was like, okay, this is definitely the book. Looked up the author. It's actually Elena Skye, I think, or something like that. And the first chapter is The Dragon's Blame. So I looked into it a little bit further. This book is actually about dragons, and honestly, it does seem like the same premise. I don't know completely what the other book is about, but this one follows a prince who is, I don't know if it's like yearly, but he goes out and he has to slay a dragon and then save a damsel from, like, rescue a damsel from this dragon, slay the dragon, and takes them home with him. It's to our main character. She has no idea what happened. She wakes up, she's very confused. She's with the prince. She's kind of going through life there, and she starts to learn more about the dragons and the whole prophecy behind it, and how maybe it's not as it seems, and maybe there's more danger near her now than there was before. And yeah, so I am really excited about this. I love dragon fantasy books. I think dragons are so cool, and I think that this book is gonna be really good. It's also super short, I feel like, so that's kind of different for fantasy. I feel like they're usually not that short, but I am looking forward to it. I haven't heard anything about this book, so we'll see if we like it. But yeah, that is the first one. Is Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the second book in the Natural series. This is a YA book series. I loved the first one. It was super interesting. I loved the plot twist, and I am really ready to dive back into the series. This series basically follows, I think it's four or five. Is it 5 or is it 6? Why am I like having the worst memory right now? I think it's 5. There's like 3 girls and 2 boys, right? Anyway, who are selected for this like secret FBI program for teens who have these like crime solving abilities or talents. Like, they all have different abilities that make it easier for them to solve crimes, and they're basically just really smart and super talented, and they have like these different abilities. So these kids in this program have to they don't have a lot of room to do things, but they kind of help behind the scenes with investigating crimes, especially surrounding like serial killers and crime scenes and stuff like that, and trying to dissect and investigate kind of what the motives are behind everything that they're doing, and figure out who the killer is. And they also have like personal relationships and kind of their own mysteries going on in their own personal lives, and relationships between the characters, and just everything going on within their lives and outside mystery while they're like solving these crimes. So yeah, I really like this series. Long story short, I'm excited to get back into this one. I think there's 4 books, I want to say. And yeah, I'm just really excited. And next up, we have The Second Life of Muriel West by Amanda Skenendorf. This book follows, it's set in like the 1920s, roaring 20s, glitz and glams in Los Angeles. Follows our, it's kind of set in the time like roaring 20s, Great Gatsby vibes. She is a socialite who is like going to luncheons and going shopping and going to like fancy events, because she is the wife of a famous actor, Charlie. She's kind of just the life of the party. She's constantly partying, going about life, having fun. And one day she notices that she has a pale patch on the back of her hand, and she is diagnosed with leprosy. And kind of to protect her family and keep her husband's reputation and her children safe, and also for their health, she ends up moving away, changing her name and moving away to Louisiana, to a facility there that is kind of trying to find a cure, and to help these people. There's multiple patients there, but as she gets there, she kind of realizes that it's a lot more dire than she knew. There's a lot of sick people there, and she just kind of is sort of reclusive and keeps to herself. But eventually she gets more into the community, and I think she gets to know these people and kind of relate to these patients and see her life a lot differently. And I think that it's going to be a major story of growth. I think that it's going to be really interesting, and I'm really excited to have North River by P. Tamil. This book has been on my TBR for quite a while. It follows, this one is set in the 1930s New York City around the Great Depression, and it follows our main character, Dr. James Delaney, who is basically just kind of being a super good doctor. He is taking care of people in his community, helping them through sickness, helping poor neighbors, gangsters, just anyone that he can. He's just being super compassionate and helpful to these people. But in his own personal life, he is very closed off. He's been through a lot of trauma and grief from the Great War and losing his wife and daughter. And then he is just kind of going about life, and all of a sudden he gets a mystery visitor. His 3-year-old grandson is sat on his doorstep, and he kind of has to take him in. He enlists the help of the Sicilian neighbor of his named Rose, who kind of has a secretive past that we don't know that much about. Comes into the home to help him take care of the grandson, and as he's around them more, he becomes more opened up, and they just kind of have a more happy, they kind of infuse a lot of happiness and joy into his life that he hasn't had in a while, as he's been very closed off. And I think that it's just going to be really interesting to see this time frame and how much they had to go through and how much you have to rely on family and loved ones. We have a big boy. We have a big boy named The Watchers by John Steele. This book is, I didn't really know what it was about. It's set in Switzerland, I believe, a cathedral in Switzerland, and something unknown to angels and men. I think it's going to have a fantastical element, kind of very imaginary fairy tale, what's the word I'm thinking of, like kind of heavenly aspect, like angels and demons and that kind of vibe. But it follows 3 main characters who kind of have very different backgrounds. It follows Mark, who is the watcher, I guess, over the cathedral. He kind of sits in the cathedral by himself, and he's kind of just surrounded by his own thoughts and his imaginary thoughts and kind of fantastical elements. And then we also follow Catherine, who is a call girl and a dreamer, and she is kind of introduced into this world and realizes that maybe her fairy tales are really coming true and that there is a lot more to her life. And then we also have Harper, who is a private detective. He ends up waking up in this hotel and he has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know how he got here, and he gets a call that is for a job, and he kind of just has to do it, and he doesn't really know what's going on. I don't know a lot about it. It's very beautiful. The last one and the least one, I'm just kidding. The last but not least is Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. I read one Kristen Hanna book before. I think it was called The Great Alone, set in Alaska. I love that book. I love the plot. I love the setting. I feel like I learned a lot about like Alaska and kind of that atmosphere. And it really like set you into the book. I felt very immersed into the world and everything. And I've actually was between this one and The Nightingale. I've heard The Nightingale is 5 out of 5, fantastic, amazing. Everyone who reads it loves it, and it's also kind of sad, I think. But I don't know. I just feel like this one is a little bit more springy, summery. I feel like I was just kind of leaning more towards this one right now, around women's friendship, and it is kind of for the girls, if you will. Of 1974, it follows our main character, Kate, she's in 8th grade. She's kind of lame. She doesn't have a lot of friends. She's kind of a loner, and she feels very isolated from everyone. And then the coolest girl ever named Tully moves across the street and wants to be her friend, and she's in shock because this girl she's beautiful and she's brainy and she's ambitious and she's amazing and everybody likes her. So they just seem like a very unlikely pairing. But they end up becoming like best friends, and it kind of follows through their lives. I think it follows, like kind of between their past and their present, which is 30 years later into the future. It kind of follows their friendship as they grow older and as their, lives change and their, different situations and everything. It's gonna be really interesting. I personally have not ever had a childhood friend that I've kept in touch with or that I've had throughout my whole life. I think it's something that like is so beautiful and so fun. Like, I think it would be amazing to have that. I think girl friendships are just amazing anyway. Like, I have a best girlfriend. I have my sister I'm really close with. I have other friends that I am like, we just, it's just so fun. Like, hanging out with the girls, it's just the best. And I like I think it's going to be amazing to read about and to just kind of like relate it to your life and hopefully to just show you to embrace friendships more. I am really excited about it. I think it's going to be sad. I think it's going to be sad, but I'm still looking forward to it. I think it's going to be also like probably pretty heartwarming and cozy and cute. So I am really excited, honestly, for all of my books. I don't even know how many I have here. 6. I only have 6. That's crazy. Okay. But that is it for all of the books that I'm going to be reading for April. I probably will be reading some other ones. Don't you worry. I will be reading other books. I'm actually going on vacation. I think I mentioned that I was trying on makeup for... Sorry, I'm so thirsty. Ugh. I kind of decided this year that I wanted to embrace change more. I don't know. And I kind of made a goal that I wanted to embrace all the small things in my life. I feel like I am someone who, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people have this where I focus a lot on trying to get to this perfect point in my life so that I can do all the fun things I want to do and, you know, fully be happy with my life, and like everything will be perfect once I get here and here and here. And this year I'm just trying to focus a lot more on making sure that at the end of every year I feel like I lived to the fullest, that I loved every minute of my life, and even if I was still living within my means, I still had fun and I still, you know, live like the girls are right. Be the Lulu to have what you want. Like, it will get there. It'll be fine, because I was delusional enough to make the goal of going to more concerts this year. I think I just love concerts. I went to one last year. I went to a Five Sauce concert last year, and it was so fun, and it was just so nice to get out with my mom and my sister, my girls, and just to fully embrace life and go on trips with my husband. And it doesn't have to be crazy, and it doesn't have to be far, and you don't have to spend a lot of money, but just really embrace those small moments that you can get away from the mundane every day and have fun and even enjoy the everyday, you know? But yeah, I somehow have already, like within the past 2 months, acquired tickets to 4 different concerts this year. Not 1, not 2, 4, guys, okay? And it's gotten a little bit out of hand, honestly. I didn't think that this was going to be my life. But I originally got tickets to Mount Joy in October, and I'm really excited about that one. I have been really excited. That was kind of the first one, like, dip my toes in the water. And then I suddenly came across tickets to Benson Boone in April, which is literally less than a week away now. It's 6 days away. So I will be probably taking the second Magnolia Parks book after I finish this one, I think, and then I'll probably read a Kindle book too. So that's why I won't be only reading these books, because I probably will not take any of these with me. But I do have a long train ride in April, so I will probably be bringing my Kindle and maybe one other book. But yeah, I do have a Benson Boone concert, and then Luke Hemmings from 5 Seconds of Summer decided that he was gonna have a tour. So my sister and my mom and I obviously had to do another girls trip, and we're going to the first American part of his tour in Chicago. Of course, I'm so excited. So yeah, that's my big one. That's the one that I am obviously the most excited for, because it's Luke Hemmings. I've been a Five Sauce fan since over 10 years now, since I was a kid, so I'm very excited about that one. And also I get to go with my girls. I'm actually going to every other concert with my husband, and then I also am going to see Chappell Roan a week after the Luke Hemmings concert, and I am really excited about that one. I'm going with my sister and her boyfriend and my husband, and that's kind of going to be like a cute little family trip too. I wish that they weren't so close together, because I do think it's going to be a little bit stressful, but I'm just so excited. So yeah, long story short, that has nothing to do with reading, that has nothing to do with this video, but I am so excited. I'm so excited to just have a lot of adventure and a lot of fun, and I'm a very impulsive person sometimes, so I mean, I should have seen this coming, but I am very excited. So yeah, that is it. Long story short, I will be probably reading some other books, some Kindle books, while I'm in Chicago at the Benson Boone concert. So yeah, if anyone's going to see Benson Boone, I'll see you there. Maybe. I don't know if I'll see you or not. But yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am so excited to get into all these books, get cracking on them. After I read Daisy Hates, I probably will get into all of these. So I'm excited, and thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and leave a comment of what you guys are planning on reading in April and kind of your reading plans for the future, or if you're chugging along on your TBR or your mood reading. I would love to know. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.